I'm Lisa Sampson, and I'm the Director of the Italian Studies Programme at UCL. So in this video, I want to give an introduction to our programme and what it's like to study Italian studies at UCL, what you will study, and what you will get out of your degree. So most obviously, by studying Italian, you will end up with high-level linguistic skills in a major European language. The aims of the degree are also to give you a broad knowledge of Italian culture through studying a variety of different topics from history, literature, linguistics, the visual arts and media and film, for example. And these can be studied from the Middle Ages till today. Importantly, a degree in Italian studies will also give you important skills in communication and critical thinking, as well as intercultural and international experience, particularly, of course, for those students who go on their year abroad to Italy. So the department at UCL is quite large by UK standards. We have 15 members of staff currently in Italian, and we have on the other hand, about 40 to 50 students who come to study with us each year. So we have a very good staff-student ratio, and that means that we can get to know our students very well, and the class sizes are small on the whole. So we have about 8 to 12 students normally in language classes, and we have about 10 to 20 for the culture modules. So within these classes, there are many different sort of styles of teaching. I'll say a bit more about language teaching in a moment, but in culture teaching, you will have a certain number of more or less formal lectures, but you also have seminars where students are expected to contribute ideas and contribute to discussions through their readings and their study. Similarly, of course, the assessment is very varied to reflect different kinds of teaching and activities that go on in the class. And these can range from writing essays and more formal analyses of film or visual images or of literature, for example, to blog entries and oral presentations. Being in London, you will also have lots of opportunities to enhance your learning of Italian language and culture. There is a very large Italian population in London, and a very vibrant cultural scene. There are film and literary festivals in Italian. There's Italian theatre, and of course many of the large museums carry major collections of Italian sources, the British Library, the National Gallery, the V&A, just to name a few. Of course, Italian food is plentiful as well. So moving on to the programme then. Italian can be studied at UCL either as part of a single honours programme or in combination with another subject. And many students, of course, study Italian alongside a second language, ranging from anything like Spanish, French to Danish, Portuguese, or you can study Italian with another subject like philosophy, film studies, management studies. So you'll be studying with students who often are taking a number of different other subjects, which bring different perspectives to the questions that you are looking at in class. So the program can be taken over 4 years. Most students take this, with the third year being spent abroad. But there are a small number of programs that only last for 3 years without the year abroad. All Italian students take language as a core part of their program, and you'll be studying language throughout your degree at increasingly more advanced levels. So to start with, students come to us sometimes with an A-level or an equivalent standard, but many are beginners. In fact, about half to 3/4 of our students start without having proficiency in Italian. So it's important to note that we do cater for very different levels of proficiency, and you will be assessed when you start your program, so that you are placed in a group of the right level. So post-beginners are taught separately, and beginners will be again taught together, so that at whatever level you start, you are sufficiently challenged but also supported in your language learning. And there is flexibility to move between groups if you feel that the level is not quite right for you. So students then are taught a wide variety of skills in language, and alongside language, you are, of course, learning about Italian contemporary issues and culture and politics as well. So all students then are taught grammar, which of course is very important, and it is intensively taught for the beginners initially, alongside reading skills, writing, and oral conversation. And particularly in the final year, there is much more emphasis also on translation skills from and into Italian. Throughout the program, you have the opportunity to attend sessions in the language lab, and there are in fact many opportunities for using different facilities on offer, as well as for developing language learning partnerships with visiting students from Italy. So various ways in which you can boost your language learning skills, also through e-learning programs. So language then is at the core, as we've said, of our programme, and taught by a very experienced team of teachers. But you'll also be learning language as part of your study of culture as well. So alongside language, which is weighted at 30 credits, you'll be taking a certain number of culture modules, and then these are optional, so you have a wide choice in each year of modules that you can take. The number of modules that you take depends on your program and your choice year by year, but you will be guided as to how many you can take through support from your personal tutor and other administrative support. So normally students will take between 1 and 3 culture modules if they are studying a joint program, and up to 4 culture modules if they are doing a single honours program. So really this is the area, the culture modules are perhaps the area where you'll be moving into areas that you haven't had a chance to try out at school yet, and you'll have the opportunity, as I said, to take introductory modules in linguistics, medieval literature, looking at Dante, or Renaissance Italy, politics and visual arts, looking at culture under fascism or the Risorgimento, and looking at cinema and literature in the modern period. the 20th century. So these are options that we typically run in the first year, but as you can see in the second and the final year, we have more modules that become more increasingly specialized and very closely aligned with the research interests, the core research interests of the Italian staff that are teaching them. So you will always be taught by experts in that particular field who are publishing and are very much engaged in the cutting edge debates in that field. So you can see there are a wide variety of topics and disciplines again in this list. What I would say is that whereas in the first year, all of the culture topics are taught with using texts and sources that films, for example, as well, that can be accessed also in English translation. In the second and particularly in the final year, you will be expected to engage in the core sources in Italian language. So the language learning and the culture learning go on obviously in the classroom, but also beyond that in, as I mentioned, e-learning environments, but through research projects, language projects, and other activities that go on using either UCL resources or other ones. So this is part of the Dante course has involved looking at the Dante volumes that are held in the rare book collections at UCL. And I've taken, as part of my Renaissance module, taken my students to the V&A. Here we're looking at Leonardo da Vinci's Codex in the glass box at the bottom left. And students have also been taken to the historic collection to look at the modern art collections there of Italian art. But it's not all rigorously academic learning opportunities at UCL. We also invite our students to other activities where we, for example, have been making pasta and piadine, and students have been able to also learn from an Italian chef. And we did a cook-along online session last year when we were locked down, but was another way of engaging with different aspects of Italian culture. So as a student at UCL, there are many other ways of getting involved with Italian life and culture. There is a very active Italian society which engages students from across UCL, so also beyond SELCS, and organises lots of activities. Staff from Italian host the cinema club, and there's a lot of exciting screenings and presentations by visiting speakers and directors, for example. There is annually a theatre project to stage productions in the Bloomsbury Theatre, for example, and Italian theatre is very much part of that offering. We also have many visiting guest lecturers and speakers who come to our seminars and other events. So what you will get from your Italian degree then, as I said, is obviously rigorous academic instruction and opportunities for expanding your learning. But these go on not only in London, but also beyond the UK if you take a year abroad in Italy. This is a chance for students to study, to work, and also to teach sometimes in Italy, and to extend their range of experiences and knowledge of the country and its language and culture. So students have held teaching assistantships with the British Council. There have been other sort of placements that students have found, including last year we had a student who just came back from a very exciting placement at La Scala, the Opera House in Milan, where he'd been working on productions as lighting, doing the lighting. So these obviously are very provide formative experience for work and life beyond UCL. And our graduates come out obviously with a very wide range of skills, and they've often tailored their degree to their interests that they've developed across the years that they've been at UCL. And they go into a very wide range of careers afterwards. As you can see, some are more related directly perhaps to what you might think you'd get from an Italian degree, like going into teaching or into publishing. But it's, as you can see, students have gone on to work in marketing, banking, the media, government analysis, and many have gone on to further study. Every year we have a number that go to Oxford and Cambridge, and as well as other UK institutions and ones internationally. And UCL is very keen to make sure that students capitalise on the very desirable skills that they come out with from their degree. There are a number of graduate careers fairs. Employers are very interested in UCL graduates, and of course we have events that are particularly tailored for SELCS students, who have language skills. So we want them to make the most of the various opportunities and to be supported throughout their degree in planning for their careers ahead. So we hope that we will see you later in person at UCL. Thank you for listening, and if you have any further inquiries, please don't hesitate to contact SELCS-CMII inquiries or me on the email addresses below. Thank you.